Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, hope you're all okay. Something actually different lately for this channel. I've got a radio to unbox and show you. So this arrived in the post not long ago, and I've been waiting to unbox it and review it and do a little demo of it. So here it is, and it comes in the form of the Helida, I think that's how you pronounce it, CP UV2000. So this is a 400 to 520 megahertz and 136 to 177 megahertz dual bander. It's a FM, so it's not a digital radio. It looks like one of the DMR radios, and you'll see when we have a look inside. It's quite a nice build. So yeah, let's see what the box says on the side. Low voltage alarm function, scan function, anti-interference. I strongly doubt that for a Chinese radio. Vox function and CT/CSS and CD/CSS. So yeah, pretty standard there. So now, even though I'm calling this an unboxing, I have already looked in here, and I get the impression, I get the feeling that this radio has been used, or maybe used, sorry, as a demo radio from wherever it's come from. I'm not sure why. Well, I'll show you what makes me think that as we go through. So this is what you get in the box, quite standard. And one of the things that makes me think it's been used is the bags that these little parts come in all look like they've been sort of packaged and unpackaged and packaged and unpackaged numerous times. So yeah, so that's the antenna, standard dual bander. Nothing to shout about there. It's pretty basic, and you can get these on eBay for about £2. And again, like, just little marks on it just make me think it's been used as a demo, but hey ho, it was only a cheap radio anyway. So we've got the antenna, we've got the user's manual, which I'm not even going to bother with really. English looks okay. I'm not going to bother going through that in any great detail. We've got a belt clip here, which is pretty standard. We've got the charger base here, which has got dust inside. Yeah, I'm sure this has been used or in storage for a long time. 10 volt input and 8.4 volt output on there, so that's the charging base. We've got the little power supply here for the charging base, which is quite standard. Wrist strap. We've got the radio, again in a scruffy little bag. And when I looked in here, if you can make that out, you can see sort of like scratches on the screen, and you can also see them on the inside screen as well underneath this plastic layer. See that? It's quite badly marked, so disappointing really. And again, just looks like it's been used, not excessively, but it does look like it's been used. Anyway, it's just got the frequency ranges on there and an output power of 7 watts. Strongly doubt that. It wasn't advertised at 7 watts, but we'll get that on the little power tester and see what it throws out. And we've got the battery inside, 7.4 volt 2200 milliamp hour battery. Quite a chunky little battery there. So I'll just get this box out of the way, and we'll piece these bits together. So the battery just slides on, like it doesn't, it just sits in, and then this clip locks it into place, and that's quite solid. You can see what I mean now about it looking sort of like a digital radio. If I grab my TYT MD380 here, you can see they're a similar sort of standard of radio. They both look quite nice. That just goes in the charger base like so. Antenna screws in the top. Oops. And your belt clip goes on these screws here on the back, which I'll not bother with for now. So yeah, so that's the radio. On the side we've got the PTT monitor and function buttons and what looks like an alarm button. Not sure that toggles, we'll look at that in the programming software. we've got an LED indicator on the top, and we've got the speaker mic port on the side, which takes the standard Bofeng and Kenwood type devices, microphones, things like that, and that's just like a rubber insert that goes in there. It's not submersible or waterproof, but it does feel pretty hard wearing. So yeah. So what we'll do is we'll put this to one side, and we'll go into the programming software, and we'll see what we can do in there and get this radio programmed up. Okay, so we're in the programming software here. I got this off the seller who sent it me because the radio didn't come with any programming software, but this can be found in a Google search for HLD UV2000, and the software is pretty basic and pretty simple to use, so I'll just run through this with you quickly now. So we've got a blank spreadsheet here. So what we'll do is we'll program a repeater in, and we'll program a simplex frequency in. So for a simplex, let's say we want the 2 meter calling channel, we'll just type in 145,500 there, and if we go to the next cell, that'll populate it in transmit as well. So we've got receive and transmit frequency of 145,500, so that's 2 meters 2 meter calling channel programmed in. If you want a decoding CTCSS or DCS tone, you can just go through and select that, so they're all in there. And encoding, so if you want to talk to someone with a CTCSS tone, if you both have the same and don't want anyone to interfere, you can select your CTCSS tone there, but you wouldn't need that on the 2 meter calling channel anyway. Power, high or low, wide or narrow deviation, the busy lock, on or off, which I'll come to in a little while. Signalling I'll come to in a little while, and if you want to add that to the scan, you can do so. If you set a scan bank, you can add that in, and you can also name your channel. Oops, like so. Well, you can only put a certain amount of characters in, so we'll call that 2 meter call, and that's in. If you want to put a repeater in, you can put the receive frequency first, so the output of the repeater, in like that. Then the input, and that's your duplex operation there, so you're receiving on the output and transmitting on the input. Your encoding CTCSS tone to open the box just goes in like that, and everything else you can just leave. I don't know what that is in there, just delete that, and you can put your alpha tag in there like so. So there's 2 channels programmed in. Configuration settings, we've got all sorts of stuff in here, so you've got your squelch level, your battery save, Vox, which I always keep off, that's voice activated transmission. You can change the amount of time your backlight is on, timeout timer, a timeout timer pre-warning, your language, keypad lock, all sorts of stuff here, which is all, if you're familiar with these sorts of radios, you'll know what the crack is really with that. Power on message, you can put anything in there, so you could put your you could put a greeting in, and then I think further in the software you can change that, so I just put mine as my call sign. FM radio, you can put the range in there, and you can put the frequency of your favourite station in there. So let's see if we know. Wonder why it's not letting me put that in. Seems a bit strange. I want to put 100.4 in, but it's not letting me do it. Right, so that's a bit of a bug there straight away, but that's there we go. You can put a frequency in for your local radio station. It's a little bit strange, it doesn't let you put 100.4 in, but oh well. I've not bought it to be an FM radio anyway. VFO settings, you can put your A and B frequencies in, so you can have a top and bottom VFO, and you can put like just the frequency in. You can put your channel number, the number and the frequency, or the channel name and number, and same for your B frequency. Default channels, you can just put a channel of your choice in, so you know if you own a company and you only use 2 frequencies, you can just put channel 1 and then channel 2 in and just operate on those. And you can set your VFO limits here, so you could have like just basically simplex channels with a CTCSS tone, all sorts of stuff in, but you know, quite straightforward stuff. Key settings, so you've got buttons on the side, So basically the side key 1, if you hold it for a couple of seconds, it'll turn any of these features on or off. If you press it once, it'll turn any of these on or off. So each button has got 2 functions, same with the second one. Power on message here, you can just put your call sign in, and a password for the radio you can change there as well, if you want to program it or stop someone from programming it. Signalling settings I'll come to in a little while. So once you've got everything you want in this programming software, you just click program and then write data to radio, and then that'll write it to the radio and you're good to go. So I've got the radio hooked up to the little power meter, this little GY561. It's only cheap, but it does the job. And we're on 145/500 on high power, and that is giving out 5.1 watts. So definitely not the 7 that's on the back of the radio. And on 70 centimeters, 5.1 watts. So yeah, it does say 7 inside, but to be fair, it wasn't advertised as a 7-watt radio. But 5 watts is fine out of a radio like this, and you wouldn't notice any difference between 5 and 7 anyway. So there we go. Okay, so we've got the radio programmed up now, and we're ready to turn it on. So as you can see, it comes up with my call sign there, and we've got our A and B VFOs. So on the top I've got some repeaters here, which you can just go through, and with that VFO you can change it so you can have your memory channel name. You can have just a VFO, so you can just type in a frequency. Something's happening there. You can also set it to have the channel, but with just a frequency rather than the name, and just a channel number. So yeah, pretty straightforward, and the bottom VFO does the same. So if we just go through some of the memory functions here, so if I click on memory, I'll go through some of these with you. There's a hell of a lot of memory functions on here, so we'll just go through these really quick. You've got squelch level there, which you can set from 0 to 9. Oops. You've got step, so your frequency step. There's a little bit of a bug with that, which I'll show you in a while. You've got your transmit power there, which is high or low. You've got battery save option, which you can set. I think there's 3 modes there: 1 to 3, 1 to 4, and 1 to 6. Vox, voice operated transmission. You've got wide or narrow, so wide or narrow deviation there. PF1P key, and that's the short press side key. So basically, if you short press that, you can set what you want it to do. You've got long press side key there, which is if you press it for a couple of seconds, it'll change a setting like what we discussed in the programming software. Same for button 1 and same for button 2. So basically you can set in the software what you want that button to do and that button to do if you hold it for a second or you hold it for a couple of seconds. So quite straightforward stuff. ABR, which is actually your backlight, so your display and illumination, so you can set that on for a certain amount of time. Timeout timer, timeout timer warning. You've got your receive CTCSS and your receive DCS code, and transmit CTCSS and transmit DCS code, which is pretty straightforward stuff, so easy to do in the programming software as well. Language, so you can set your language. I think this only does English and Chinese. I'll just turn that down. You've got your channel A display and channel B display there, so you can have memory, frequency, or just the channel. You can edit the channel name in that one. You've got the keypad auto lock time, so you can set how long it is before the keypad automatically locks. Alarm mode, so you can set an alarm on this radio. S code, which is your signal code, which you can actually only do that in the PC. I don't know why they've put that in there. So your signal code is basically like a sort of like a DTMF code, which will come on whenever you key up. So that was what I said about in the programming software. I'd come to in a little while. So basically, you can set a random string of DTMF codes to come out on the radio to help ID a certain radio within a system. But I don't know of any use for that really. ANI set is your radio ID setting. PTTID is the actually transmits the signal code. So up here we set the signal code. The PTTID, you can set which signal code you want to transmit off the radio. PTT delay, you can set how long it is before the radio sends the signal tone, so you could have it where it'll key up it'll key up and then send the tone a couple of seconds after. DTMFST, I don't know, I can't work out what that does. I've had a look in the software, and I've had a look on the radio and can't work out a way of doing anything with that, so I'm not sure what it is. I think it's something to do with signalling, but I'm not sure. It won't do anything, so that's another little bug in my radio. TDBAB, that's basically you can have like the A VFO to transmit and the B just to receive, or vice versa, so you don't have to have both VFOs able to transmit, and it's annoying when the memory thing keeps going off as well. Memory channel, you can store channels there. Del channel, you can delete a channel. PRICHSW, that's basically you can select a priority channel when scanning, so you can be scanning something and still monitor one channel in the background, which is quite handy if you got 10 frequencies you're scanning through and you wanna make sure one is prioritized. You can set that in there. Scan add, that's where you can basically add a channel to the scan list. SC Rev, that's the scan resume method. So basically when you're scanning, you can choose when the radio starts scanning after it receives a frequency. So you can basically have it'll receive something for a certain amount of time and then carry on scanning, or you can set it to scan again when it stops receiving a carrier, so quite handy again. Radio B, that's your band selection, so that's for the FM radio, so you can select between, I think it's 76 to 91, 76 to 108, or 87 to 108 megahertz. Voice, that's the voice prompt, so English, Chinese or off. Beep, that's the little beep on the keypad. Roger is a tone at the end of the transmission, which again doesn't actually work. I've tried that, it doesn't work. STE is your tail tone elimination, so you can set a tone at the end of each transmission. Alert, I'm not sure, again couldn't find anything around that. That means single audio frequency, so 1000 to 2100. I think that is basically to set a 1750 Hz tone to open the old style repeaters, but I'm not too certain on that one. RP set is your tail tone elimination, so you can set the level of the tone. RPTRL is the delay in the tone, so again if you're sending a 1750 Hz tone, you can set when in the transmission that is sent. TX frequency, that's your transmitting frequency. XSP mode is your external speaker mode, but you don't really need to use that because if you plug an external speaker in, it works anyway. P on message is actually power on message, so that's basically like putting your call sign in. M reset is just to reset the menu, so anything you set in here you can reset, and W reset is a complete reset of the whole radio, so all your frequencies and everything go. And OPI is just product information, as you can see there. It tells you your firmware and the model name. So yeah, I hope that made sense. It's just a quick run through the menus. They're all pretty standard on these Chinese radios, so I don't need to go into tons of detail on them, but some of them are relevant, some of them don't work, and there is a few bugs on this radio. The main one I noticed was if I go into step and set the step to 6.25 like so, and then come out of it, and if I try and type in a PMR channel, you can see it doesn't go up to 00625. So it's not doing the 6.25 Hz step, so that's a bit of an issue. So yeah, that's one of the main bugs. So if you've got this radio, you're not going to be able to key in a PMR channel or anything with a 6.25 kilohertz step, which is a little bit annoying, but if you've got the programming software, it's not too bad at all. So yeah, that's pretty much an overview of the radio. It's not a bad little radio. I think, you know, the pros are the look of it, the feel of it. It's nice and sturdy, and there's a link in the description to a range test of this, and it does actually work quite well. Downsides are the buggy firmware inside, so there's them few issues. A few of the menus don't work, and the step you can't change the step, and also the fact that I'm sure this radio has actually been used, but you know, it was like something like 28 quid from China, so not a bad little radio at all. I'm quite happy with it. It's another one for the ever-growing collection, which you can see there. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description to the range test of this. The range test is already on my YouTube at the time you're watching this, but in real life here I haven't actually done it yet, because I did these I've uploaded them in a different order, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much everything, guys. If you like what you see on this channel, drop me a thumbs up, click the subscription button if you've not already, and the notification button so you get a message every time I upload something. As always, any comments, suggestions or feedback, drop in the box below. Love hearing from you guys. It's really good getting the comments and then responding to comments and stuff, and getting conversation going about the topics that this channel goes through. And with that, I'll say 7-3 for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you further down.